Let's take a look at some of your camping and campground options at Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park. Both these parks butt up right up against each other, so we'll look at Sequoia first and then Kings Canyon second. Now, if you're coming from the south, you're probably going to go up through Three Rivers and then take the Generals Highway all the way up into Sequoia National Park. And you can continue through to get to Kings Canyon National Park. That path should be open year-round, but be sure to check all road conditions before you head out because there are roads that close during the winter, sometimes late fall or early spring months. When you're going into Sequoia, you also want to check on max vehicle length. So that little stretch from Buckeye Flat up towards Lodgepole, it's very windy, there's very tight turns, and it wouldn't be fun if you had a long vehicle, and some of them you can't even get through there. And then it's very important to note that there's no gas sold in this park, so make sure you gas up before you get in. For you more adventurous campers, you have the Mineral Kings area, which offers tent camping and is only open during the summer. If you're heading up towards the main attractions, you have Podwisha and Buckeye Flat, which are great options close to the Sequoia activities and adventures. Right in the heart of it, you have Lodgepole, and then you have Dorst Creek, which is kind of between both of the parks. If you're a first-time visitor, you're probably going to be exploring stuff within this general area, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Now, you can continue through on Generals Highway to get to Kings Canyon National Park, or you can come straight into Kings Canyon if you're looking for an easier route, or if you have a big RV, you can't come up the other way anyways. There's some really neat stuff to see in this area, but in the summer months is when it's best because you can get through the Kings Canyon Scenic Byway and then get out to the High Sierras, which I think is the real selling point of Kings Canyon National Park. But if you do come in this way, the majority of what you're going to be doing is going to be in the Kings Canyon Visitor Center area, Grant Grove Village area, and they've got a nice cluster of campsites there that you can stay at, and it'll give you good access to that park, and it's a good home base if you want to get out into Sequoia National Park as well. If you are going there in the summer, you can go to the Cedar Grove area, and there's a few campsites there, and that would be a good base camp if you want to go up into the High Sierras. The vast majority of Kings Canyon National Park is only accessible by foot, and those High Sierras and that jumping off point right down the road is a great place to get out there and explore. So let's take a look at some of the sites. The first site that you're probably going to see when you go to book is Podwisha, and it's one of the two, I think, that's open all year round. You can take RVs or tents, and then reservations open up on a 3-month rolling basis. Buckeye Flat might be my favorite spot. It's reservation only in the summer months, 6-month rolling basis, and it is tents only. If you get past Buckeye Flat, you're probably going to be on your way to Lodgepole. And one thing that I would recommend is on the way up, stop and see some of those main attractions that if you're a first-time visitor, you really want to go check out. So you've got Morro Rock, you have General Sherman's Tree, you have Tunnel View that you can drive through. So rather than go get set up and then go back to see them, you might as well just hit some of those up on the way to Lodgepole. If you're going up to Lodgepole, you're going to be closest to all of those main attractions, and it's a great place to stay. You really can't go wrong no matter which site you book, but I've stayed there a couple of times and I'll give you some suggestions on what you might want to look at. If given the choice, I would suggest looking far back on the lower loop if you want to stay down there, 172 through 176. But my ideal location would be in the upper loop. If you can book 96 through 101, and I think 101 might be the best site, you're going to be very happy. Anything along that Marble Fork River is a really, really nice spot. Now, Lodgepole is only open spring through fall, and there's even an even smaller window that has reservations on a 3-month rolling basis. So make sure you check out your dates and get those reservations locked in. Now, if you're considering visiting both national parks, Dorst Creek Campground is probably your best option. You can have tents, RVs, it's a very nice and clean facility, and reservations are suggested, and it's only open part of the year. For you adventurous types, in the Mineral King area, you have the highest elevation campgrounds. You have Atwell Mill, and then you have Cold Springs. It's kind of a small road, and you can't take trailers back there, and it's only open during the summer months, but it's a really unique experience if you can find your way to it. The hotspot for Kings Canyon is Grant Grove, and here you have 3 campgrounds that are all very nice and they're all very close to each other. The one that's open year-round is Azalea Campground, and reservations are strongly suggested for all 3 of them. You can take RVs, you can take trailers, and you can do tents. If you have the option and you have the time, within Kings Canyon, Cedar Grove offers some amazing campground options. So you have the Sheeps Creek Campground, you have Moraine Campground, and Sentinel Campground. That's available for RVs, trailers, and tents. Then you have Canyon View, which is a group site. When you're in here, you're gonna have amazing views of Kings Canyon itself, and then you're also gonna have the best access to the High Sierra Wilderness. And that about does it for a campground overview in Kings Canyon and Sequoia National Park. Just do your research, make sure you gas up, and try to get reservations if you can. We hope that you found this guide useful, and please be sure to check out our website for any new adventures, guides, or gear recommendations to help you get out on your next adventure. Thanks for watching.